Hello, my name is John Andrew. I'm a physical therapist with over 20 years of experience. Today, I'm going to take you through my beginner's weight training workout. I've been lifting weights on and off since I was very young. Competed in the open class bodybuilding, not professionally, but at a competitive level. And I'm looking forward to taking you through a workout. The workout that we're taking you through is a beginner's workout made to be done 2 to 3 times per week. You're going to cycle through the entire body. 2 to 3 sets, 10 to 15 repetitions, resting roughly 60 seconds between sets. You can do one muscle group and do an opposite muscle group while you're resting from that group, or so you could do legs and then do biceps and move back and forth without a rest, or you could rest 60 seconds with a maximum of 2 minutes between sets. But I would really like to see you rest roughly 60 seconds between sets. Okay, well, Angel's gonna help me get you through this workout. Let's get started. Hello everyone, really excited to take you through a beginner's workout. This workout is for someone who really hasn't worked out for a while, if at all. So this is a beginner's workout, so I want to be clear. This is just getting you started, something you can do at home. You won't need equipment, and I'm picking things that are easy to learn, that are safe to do. You're not going to get hurt. We'll point out some modifications as we go, and for each movement, I'm going to pick a movement for most body parts. I'm going to pick options that you can do at home using bands, dumbbells, or your body weight. And then in future videos, just know we're going to develop kind of that next step where we'll take each muscle group and we'll break it down into more exercises per body part and in more sets, and then we'll split it up into different days. But this program is meant to be done 2 to 3 times per week. I would give yourself a rest day in between, so this is meant to be 2 to 3 times. You cycle through this entire circuit 2 to 3 times per week. Maybe do a bicycle or walking or elliptical machine, something on your in between these weight training days. And then we're going to do, I'd recommend 2 sets of 10 to 15 repetitions of all these movements. You could do up to 3, but starting out, I would do 2 sets. I really want you to, I'll have Angel demonstrating the movements. I want you to focus on form. We want to focus on control of the movement. If you don't control the movement, it's going to control you. And I want you to work on muscular control. That's what we're working on right now, is muscular control, so that when we're doing future, more advanced exercises, you'll have some of that muscular control mastered. So let's get started. Beginner's workout. Okay, the first muscle group we're going to work on is the pectoralis major, or chest. And we can do this with, I'm going to show you 3 different ways. One with dumbbells, so if you have dumbbells at home, and a bench press, or on the ground will work as well, on the floor. We're going to do a dumbbell bench press, or you can do wall push-ups if you don't have dumbbells on a bench, or I'm going to show you how to do it with a band if you have a band. So let's start with the dumbbells. All right, Angel, go ahead and lay on your back there. Pick a weight that you can get, preferably 15 times starting out. I want you to get the neurological pattern. We're working the pec muscles here, and we want the elbows basically away from the body, roughly 35 to 45 degrees. And she's starting with her elbows roughly even with the body. And we're bringing the inside of the dumbbell down towards the lower part of the chest. And then she's just going to press up. A little squeeze at the top, squeezing those pec muscles right through there, and then slow, and then press. Good. Notice how she's going down slow. Good. That's it. And she's going to complete 15 repetitions in that fashion. And I want you to always think, 1, 2, 3, press. 1, 2, 3, that's the eccentric phase when you're lowering it. You're really taking that muscle and ratcheting it through all those fibers to get full muscle development. 1, 2, 3, press. And then don't get it too wide. Sometimes people will end up pressing way out here. Go ahead and do a few incorrect. I'll see them doing this. Don't do that. You're going to hurt your shoulder. You want to be in here, pretty tight, keeping it tight as you go down with this inside dumbbell kind of over the chest region, and then pressing up and squeezing. Good. Perfect. Sometimes people, your arms shouldn't go way below the plane of the body. It shouldn't end up way back here. you're going to set yourself up for hurting your muscles in here. So we're keeping it right in there. Hope that makes sense. Okay, here Angel is doing a bench press. I'm just trying to show a different angle. Looks really good. Elbows are tracking in a nice place. You can see she's not dropping down too low either. Okay, if you don't have dumbbells, hey, that's okay. Get a band, put it around your back. I've got it around my shoulders and my arms, and then I can just kind of press, and this works really well. And my force is against the band, pushing out. And again, same principles. Press, 1, 2, 3. Press, 1, 2, 3. And I want you to feel a squeeze, just like when you were doing the dumbbells. I want you to feel a squeeze at the top. I want you to find your pec muscles with your brain. Squeeze your pecs, and then 1, 2, 3. And breathe in. I didn't talk about breathing with the dumbbells. I want you to breathe in, expand your rib cage. And exhale with the exertion, generally speaking. Squeeze. 1, 2, 3. That's the eccentric lengthening phase of the muscle. Squeeze. There's a concentric phase. Breathing in. Okay, next, let's say you don't have to do all 3 of these. Let's say you don't have dumbbells, you don't have a band. You have a wall. Let's do some wall push-ups, Angel. Now, what everybody wants to do wrong here is they always want to have their hands too high. See, like Angel's showing, that's too high. Move them down, fingertips roughly horizontal with your shoulders. That's the way you'd end up with a regular push-up. And then you step away from the wall. Good. And Angel, I'd lower your hands down a little bit more, because when you're into the push-up, they're a little, and even just a tad more, I'd lower those hands down. Perfect. And I keep your elbows a little closer to your body. Protects the shoulders. Good. I like that. Good. So you can see your elbow orientation is they're not too flared out. And you just are slowly dropping down, forehead to the wall. And press, and then down slow. Down 1, 2, 3. Press. 1, 2, 3. That way she's working her muscles all the way through. This is working deltoid, chest, triceps, or deltoid front of the shoulder. And you're working scapular stabilizers in your core too. The full progression on push-ups would be, I would start with the wall. If the wall isn't, if that's easy, then you could go to an incline such as a table or a bench press. I would probably use a counter first, and then it's not so low, would be the next step. And you can do push-ups here. Okay. Good. And again, we could use a counter or something stable that's not so low to be a mid-step. If you find that gets easy, then I would say a good step could be, knee push-ups, going to your knees. So I'm talking about progression of force. And then there's a full push-up. That would be the last progression of force. And I generally prefer dumbbells, but this would be something, if you didn't have dumbbells or bands, this is the progression of push-ups that you'd use instead. Angel, any questions on any of that you think anybody would have?
Any specific things you need to not do or watch out?
I would say if you have sharp shoulder pain, that would be a sign to move back to that's a great question, to the prior level of force. So let's say you're doing you move to a full push-up like you just did, and you start getting sharp anterior shoulder pain, which can be a little impingement on some of the tendons or rotator cuff soreness. I would default back to the prior level of force. And that goes for like with your weight training. If you have sharp pains, always default back to the prior level of force, which is reduced weight or a movement that doesn't hurt. Muscle burn is fine. Fatigue, we like that. That's the muscle working, but sharp pains, we really want to avoid that. Okay, now we're going to do squats. If you have knee issues, then we're going to show modifications. But to start with, we're going to have Angel going just above parallel, not too parallel or 90 degrees. Okay, go ahead and start the squat.
How far apart on your feet?
She wants her feet shoulder width apart. Okay, just kind of a comfortable stance. As you hinge your knees down, your knees and all of this angle here should run straight from the hip to the knee to the ankle. This should be a straight line. Excellent. And slow. 1, 2, 3, press. And if we look at the side angle, you can see she's translating her hips back. Hips back. And I put a chair there because if I don't, it seems like with beginners, they always end up squatting. Like, go ahead and show how people often squat if we don't put a chair there when they're beginning. How the knees drop over the toes forward. So if I put a chair there, it kind of cues people to get their hips back and to squat and come up. And we want to keep our chest up, shoulders up, neck up, head up. We don't want to collapse down at the bottom. We want to keep this curve on our back. We want everything straight from the front, everything working straight. Now, I found if I don't put a chair back here, people end up squatting like this. This is what they do. Knees are way in front of the toes. I don't mind them moving towards in front of the toes a little bit, but I don't want them, this isn't how you squat. And so this is what, if I just tell people to squat and they don't have experience with it, this is what I see happening in the clinic. As a physical therapist, this is what a person will do. Really, my knees I don't really have knee issues specifically, but my knees are a little sore now. So the key is to translate your hips back. You can feel the power in my glutes and in my hamstrings and my quads. I'm keeping the curve of my low back, chest up, and then back up. And down, slow, press. Now if you have knee issues, I always tell people just do minis. Just like that, just minis. Just down a little bit, and then back up. Down a little bit. Initiate like you're going to sit in a chair, keeping your quads tight. These are your target muscles. And then back up. If your knees hurt when you do that, we'll find a modification. Okay, so once again with the ball squat, it's like the regular squat. You want your feet about shoulder width, which she has, is great. You also want to walk your feet away from the ball surface, like what she's done, roughly a foot to a foot and a half. Don't worry about measuring as much as paying attention to foot position. So you want the ball starting off in your low back. If you have balance issues, you're unstable, don't do this. We don't need the ball to pinch out and you to fall. And then Angel, go ahead and about to there, it's plenty low, and up. Perfect. See how her knees, generally speaking, are in a position at or behind her toes. We don't mind them coming forward a little bit, but we don't need her knees way beyond her toes. Excellent, and that's plenty low. If you have knee issues, let's show the modified way where you just do like a partial dip, just to there and up, and you can even do a smaller one. And your knees can straighten a little more at the top. Good, keep your thighs tight. When I say thighs tight, we want to keep these muscles tight the whole time. I want you to mentally find those muscles. To work a muscle, you have to find it. Most weight training initially is neurological training more than muscle training. You have to find the muscles with your brain. And her knees are running straight from the front too. See how everything's running true? Okay, I want to show one other thing. Okay, I'm going to hold this for you. Go ahead and go into the squat, Angel. Okay, see if we run this bar off of her toes. She's got her knees are generally behind her toes or at her toes. We wouldn't want this going way out here. Then she would need to adjust her feet forward or not go as low. And if we don't mind that rule, it will cause knee pain. Just a footnote, you can use dumbbells too for the squats. Feet shoulder width, head up, chest up, and just note she's leaving the dumbbells at her sides. We're not using a kettlebell just right now because it can pull a person into forward flexion and put pressure on the back, so we're just going to go with dumbbells. Not that we can't do those later, but let's just stick with these arms near sides for now. You could put something on your back, but I'm trying to avoid heavy squats right now we don't want weight on our back. Let's stay away from heavy squats for the time being. You can also do squats if you don't feel comfortable doing them in a chair. Do them at a counter. Pretend this is a counter here, or you can use this treadmill. And I'm just going to do little dips. Or you could do them deeper, but still the same rules apply. Feet shoulder width, head up, chest up. And if your knees hurt, don't go as low. But remember, we're not squatting like this. We're pivoting our hips back. We're hinging our hips back. We're not doing this. We're kind of dropping down like we're going to sit in a chair. Also, if your knees hurt, sometimes there can be, some osteoarthritis here or behind the patella. Remember, if in doubt, check with your physician before you begin a diet or an exercise program. But you can have some arthritis behind the knee. This is the thigh muscle here in the patella or kneecap, and then the tibia. And so, the deeper we go into the squat, there's more and more pressure on the backside of this patella. So if you have some arthritis or something, then it can, really put a lot of pressure on there. So a good simple modification if you have knee issues is just not squatting as deep, so you're not putting as much pressure on that extensor mechanism, on that kneecap or that patella. Call it retropatella joint reaction forces, but just think of it as pressure behind the kneecap for right now. Okay, now Angel, we're going to work back. She's going to do the one-arm dumbbell row. You can do these standing with a cable system, but I'm assuming most people don't have a cable system at home, so we're going to go with this. She's going to use one dumbbell. She's keeping her back straight, curve in the back, good. That's it. And notice her knee is on the bench. Good, and she can pull her dumbbell all the way up to her chest, just a tad higher. Good, perfect. And she's squeezing these muscles right in here. And I like how she's keeping her back straight. She's not twisting. She's keeping this back flat. So if we put a book on there, it wouldn't fall off. That's what you want. You don't want to twist and hurt your low back. And she can also, and then you'll switch and you'll do the other side. You can see the muscles that she's using are, kind of this middle trapezius, latissimus dorsi, working a little bit of posterior deltoid. So you're working, and there's other muscles involved too, but those are some of the major muscles. We're just working back. And then Angel, go ahead and show the right side one more time. And she's keeping her leg straight. I typically bend my right knee because that's more comfortable for me. So we'll show a variation on this. I prefer, Angel likes to do it like that. Okay, that's fine. I like to put my leg up in the air because I feel more stable here. So this is just how I like to bend this knee a little bit and just do it like that. So you can do it either way. And I'm not rotating. I don't want to rotate like this. This is a time where range of motion is your friend. You want your back rigid. You can move your shoulder blade, but you don't want to be rocking. So here I am. Breathe, keeping that nice and strict. And you can breathe in, and then exhale. Breathe in, and then exhale. This is a great way to use a band to do the rows. And you just hook it around a doorknob. You use some common sense. Hook it so that it doesn't, come off the T-handle knob. If you have a standard knob, you'd want to go to the side or put it through the door, hook the knob on the other side of the door, shut the door on it. Although sometimes I can tear the band, so you want to put it like so. And then go ahead, squeezing, chest up, head up. Good. Notice how she's got a curve in her low back. That's what you want. You want your head up, chest up. And she's going to breathe in as she pulls back, expanding the rib cage. And she's going to release. Good. Keep going, Angel. Nice job. Notice key points are her elbows are, relatively close to her sides. These are the target muscle groups: middle trapezius, latissimus dorsi, seminiferous spinatus, and posterior deltoid. But mainly we're working the muscles middle trapezius here, rhomboids major and minor, and latissimus dorsi here. So just think back. Just think back muscles. And she's squeezing her shoulder blades. You can see the target muscles. She's Squeezing her shoulder blades. And a couple sets of 10 to 15 reps. You can even do as many as 20 here. And notice from this angle, she's bending her elbows and she's bringing it to her rib cage. Yep, she's not flaring her arms out. She's keeping her arms relatively close to her sides. And when the wrists hit the rib cage, that is as far as you go with the movement. Wrist to rib cage, and then you finish off the movement by squeezing the shoulder blades. See how she's squeezing her shoulder blades? Excellent. Alternate dumbbell curls were probably one of the first exercises I ever did weight training. I figured if they were good enough for Arnold, they were good enough for me. So she's going to start with her wrists parallel to her body, and then she's going to supinate and turn her palm up as she goes. Good. She's going to alternate back and forth. Good. And she's curling up, squeezing hard, keeping them squeezing as she's lower and she's squeezing them. Good. This is a target muscle group right there. Squeezing on the way down, keeping them tight. Think of the muscle you're working. Squeeze, squeeze down slow. Good. That's it. We're supinating as we go because as you supinate, it activates the bicep a little better. One of the main actions of the bicep is supination, even more so than just bending the elbow, what we call flexion. Excellent. Okay, so standing dumbbell curls. Her core is tight. She's keeping her chest up, her feet about shoulder width. She's in what I call the power posture. You always want to get in a good posture before you begin any exercise, which is up tall, abs slightly tightened, slight curve in the low back, feet shoulder width apart. Before we begin any exercise, that's generally where we're going to start, is in this upright position. And one repetition on the left and right arm counts as one repetition. So again, 15 reps. You can do as many as 20, but let's shoot for around 15. This can also be done with a band if you don't have the weights. Hook it around a foot. Don't snap yourself in the face. Don't ask me how I know that. I've done that. And then, just curling one.
Both at the same time.
You could do them both at the same time. You could certainly do it with dumbbells too. It'll put a little more stress on the low back, but not a lot. But if you have back issues, you can do it one at a time. Although it might seesaw back and forth with the band if you do one arm at a time. So I think with the band, you're better off doing it in both arms at the same time. And squeezing, and down 1, 2, 3. Head up, chest up. Emphasizing that power posture. Down slow. Excellent. She's keeping those biceps tight. And she has good posture, good positioning. Working out's a time where we should always have good posture. We want good posture the rest of the time, but certainly when we're working out. Awesome. Angel just made a good point, whether you're using the band or the dumbbells. What was that point you made?
Just be sure not to swing. I tend to keep my elbows very solid at my side and curl up, and then that lets me focus on the bicep and curling of the arm. So I have, like John said, chest up and kind of squeeze those elbows into the side so that they're not moving with the curling motion, so that they're very stable and you can focus on the curl of the bicep.
And I do like to do dumbbell curls. As you get heavier, it won't be such a big deal right now, but as you get heavier, I do feel like doing one dumbbell at a time reduces stress on the low back. Okay, here we are training calves. Just find yourself a stairwell. Most of us have stairs. If not, just do it on flat ground. And here she is plantar flexing or raising up on her toes. And this is working the calf muscles. And we're just going up, 1001, 1002, down slow. And then up, down 1, 2, 3.
Good stretch at the bottom.
And up, hold 1, 2, down 1, 2, 3. If you perform these in this fashion, you will not need heavy weight. Just body weight's adequate. In time, we might be doing this with one foot at a time, but for right now, use both. Like Angel was saying, use a good range of motion, but I want you to hold a little bit at the top and then down slow. Up, 1, 2, down slow. Make calves burn. Make the calves burn. When I say calves, I'm talking about the meaty part, the muscle part, not you know, an Achilles tendon or actually your foot. You want to feel the muscle burn. If something else is hurting, sharp pain, then stop the exercise. And again, couple sets, 2 to 3 sets, 10 to 15 repetitions. With calves, sometimes I'll do as many as 20. Make them burn in the muscle belly. You can use, you know, a step like this and set that up, but it can be somewhat unstable. I just use a stair. That's why I picked it in the video. And a stair is every bit as good as a calf machine, because you can go, eventually you can hold on to dumbbells. You can do it one leg with dumbbells. There's a whole progression there that works really, really well. Here we're doing the bridge. This is work your quads, glutes, and hamstrings. And Angel is just lifting to where she's level, but not going beyond level, because you can actually hurt your low back. So, yep, that's too far. So that's great that she did that. And then all the way down, and then up. 1, 2, 3, and down. I tell people do a slow 3 count or a fast 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's up to you. And she's gonna feel this in her abdominals. I want her to flex her abdominals kind of lightly, squeezing her buttocks or her glutes, and then squeezing her thigh muscles as she does the movement. And you know, a couple sets of 10 to 12 reps of this will be perfect. You could do this on a bed in a pinch if you didn't want to go to the floor.
So like right here, I can definitely feel it squeezing.
Perfect. Okay, so now we're going to do the reverse lunge. I prefer these over forward lunges. These are one of my favorite exercises. She's just going back and then back up and translating back. That way it keeps the knee in a better position. You can even translate a little bit more if you want to. Good. This is the traditional way if you don't have a knee issue. And something that's important is she's keeping her knee straight in this plane. See how her knee, her hip and her knee down to her foot is straight? If your knee jaunts in or out, that's not okay. I'll demonstrate.
When I do these, I also focus on my leg that goes back, stepping slightly out, which widens your base. If I try and step like that, I mean, it's harder to keep your balance. So if you have a wall, you know, you can always kind of hang on. You can grab a piece of equipment or do it next to a piece of equipment until you get good balance. But the leg that goes back, like I said, I always kind of focus on going slightly out as I go back, which makes it easier to just feel and focus on all the powers going through this leg here.
Very good.
Stable leg.
A good tip. And doing it near a wall or a piece of furniture is an excellent idea. Now this is how you do it if you don't have any knee issues. And notice she's translating backwards. Most people don't translate back enough. You can also do this with dumbbells, but I would start off without the dumbbells, please. So a quick point I wanted to make is Angel was in black, so it was hard to see black on black, but a common problem that people do when they're doing this is when they come in, this should all be straight, but a problem is they'll tend to go into the lunge here or go into the lunge there. Obviously I can feel that on my knee, and again, my knees don't hurt, but that makes them hurt. So sometimes you can do this in a mirror with a mirror ahead of you, and then as you're dropping back, you can spot yourself, but you should see this hip, knee, foot is all working in a straight line. Hip, knee, foot, straight line. And if you get into it, you're doing that, or more common is people internally rotate the hip, pronate the foot, and they do that. That's really bad. So straight. And then if you have a knee issue, don't go as low. If you have a knee issue, just kind of go like maybe to here. Translate back. Translate back. Don't go as deep. Maybe just do 30 to 40 degrees instead of doing like this, deeper lunge. Maybe just do like a mini. I call these mini. Sometimes I'll even call them step backs, because if I call them a lunge, people start going too deep. So if you have a knee issue, or what we call anterior knee pain around the patella or this medial knee, just go low. Don't go as low, I'm sorry, and then just just keep them little shallow ones. In slow. 1, 2, 3. Feel it here, and up. 1, 2, 3, and up. People want to do these way too fast. I see people doing this kind of a stuff. You want to work your muscles with on time. Extend the on time of the muscle. So this is what I'm talking about. Angel has a mirror in front of her, and now she can watch herself from the front and see how she can see those angles in the front. And you can even skim. Sometimes we'll use furniture sliders to make this easier on the opposite foot to slide it back, or you can just skim the ground. You can just skim the ground to make it easier. And then common mistakes are people go too low if they have knee pain, or they go too fast. So please slow it down and don't go too deep. If you have knee pain, don't go too deep. Remember with squats and lunges, if you have knee pain, don't go as low. Just go halfway or quarter way. Do whatever you can do without sharp pain. If you have sharp pain in your knee, you're going too far. Okay, so one of the best way to work our triceps is to have resistance going this way, and we're going to push down, elbows near our sides. In the future, we'll show you other exercises, but for right now, if you're using a band at home, the way you do that is you tie a couple knots, just a couple of grounding knots mid-substance here in the band. And I have a grounding knot. They sell anchors on like Amazon that are anchors to go over a door, so you can buy one of those. Throw it over the door. Okay, shut the door. We're ready to rock and roll. So that's how you set that up. So once again, Angel has feet shoulder width apart. She's in the power posture. Head up, chest up, abs tight. And she's squeezing her triceps here. This is the target muscle group, the back of the arm, the triceps. And she's going to squeeze 1, 2, and then release. And we're going up to about roughly a 90-degree angle at the elbow. We don't really need to go further than that. We could go just a tad further, but not much. Basically a 90-degree. If we go much further, then it'll make your elbow sore, and not in a good way. And I like how she's going straight, but she isn't snapping her elbows to full end range, because there's a little olecranon process that goes in olecranon fossa, and it can actually kind of bruise the bone, make your elbow sore. There's a bony stop there. So you want to just go straight, but not hyperextend your elbows. That's what I'm trying to say. And squeeze, and then see how she releases slow to work that tricep. Squeeze, and then releasing slow. Excellent. That's just right. And our target muscle group that you're wanting to focus on are these triceps right here. And you can bend forward a little bit, as long as you're keeping this inward curve in your back and your chest up. She's getting there the right way. Meaning you can bend forward a little, but you keep your chest up and the arch in your back. That looks perfect. You can also do this using a cable machine, if you happen to have that. So this isn't about the weight. Select a weight that you're comfortable with. You should be in control of the weight, not the other way around. You should be able to get 15 reps in good form. Notice she's doing the same thing. This is her target muscle group here, the triceps. And she's pausing and then releasing slow. Pausing and releasing slow. And you don't have to do this and the band. You pick one or the other. Eventually, maybe we'll have you do both. But right now, just pick one or the other and do 2 to 3 sets of 10 to 15 repetitions. And focus on squeezing that muscle. Notice how she's got the curve in her back. That's a position of power. Chest up, abdominals slightly tightened. Her head is up in a good position. Feet are shoulder width. Knees slightly bent is fine. That's a good position of strength. And she's controlling that weight. And she can breathe out and then breathe in. Breathe out and breathe in. You generally exhale with the exertion with weight training, but there's a few exceptions, like with rows and maybe lat pull downs. But generally, you breathe out when you're exerting the force. Well, thanks for tuning in. If you like this kind of content, please feel free to like and subscribe. There's more to come. We're just getting started. This is the beginning workout. I'm looking forward to building this program, and I'll get more anatomical models, and we're going to cover shoulders. We're going to cover some back exercises, some core exercises. We're going to get some in-depth split routines where we're breaking it down more, so you'll be working it with weights more days per week. But this is our beginner 2 to 3 days per week, kind of a circuit training program. So hang in there. We're just getting started. I would work with this routine for anywhere from a month to 3 months, maybe even as little as a couple weeks if you've had exposure with weights before. But we're going to build this routine. We got more to come. Lots of ideas, don't we? Some of them will be workouts that I've done in the past when I was competing, and some that Angel currently does. So that's where we're going. So stay tuned. There's lots of good stuff coming, more recipes. Angel's actually cooked up some other things that I need to edit. So we've got more coming. Thanks for watching.